Hello everyone, welcome back to another video talking geeky stuff with me, and today's video is what's happening to gaming part 3. And as you can see here is the topic's about Black Myth Wukong. If you follow my videos, I try to stay away from politics, agendas, all of that madness in the gaming, movies. Just the fandom industry really is really, you know, it's really taking over. I think it's just getting ridiculous. And this one's about Black Myth Wukong and the recent, well, not we'll say recent, I think the woke journalists have been gunning this for quite some time. I've been kind of like staying away from this and not really want to talk about it, but I'm recording this now about 9 o'clock in the evening, the 19th of August, because it's coming out tomorrow. And I'll be getting the Steam copy. And maybe the PlayStation 5 as well later on down the line. But I'll be playing this and I'll be enjoying it, Yeah, I'm Chinese, of course, as some of you know, and I was raised in the UK for most of my life, so I have a pretty good understanding of both sides, both cultures, West and East. And I'm glad in a way that I can understand. I can appreciate the West and appreciate the East, and find a nice middle ground, so I can kind of put my opinions from both sides quite well. And that's what we'll talk about today: Black Myth Wukong and the shitstorm that is, pardon my language, but the shitstorm that has been going through these I don't know what to call them really. I mean, it kind of started a few months ago when allegedly they were offered by, I don't know, maybe rumored of Sweet Baby Inc. or something on that kind of company, consultancy company, about changing their ideas and more diverse and stuff like that. And of course rejected, and the rumors, the alleged $7 million. Bear in mind, Game Science is a pretty small company. This is the biggest project. It's taken about 4 or 5 years to make. And as it got more and more, they employ more people in there. And what they've done has been nothing short of amazing, really. And then after that, I think there've been like hit pieces after hit pieces in the internet, and then all these journalists have gone back and finding out these quotes and so on. Let me tell you something. My Chinese ain't the best. It's doable. I can still talk, but I still have the funny thing is, when I go back to China, I speak Cantonese, so my Mandarin is not the best, but we read the same writing. And people in China, they can tell I'm from UK or somewhere with my accent. It's funny, I've got more of a English accent than a Chinese accent. And I can tell you something about our language. Our language is, what we say and what we write are kind of two different things. And what we say in a sentence, for example, or the word we put in a sentence, can be a whole different meaning. So you really have to understand the Chinese language, the way it's written, and how certain sense of humor, especially China has like something like 50 provinces, so much, 54, 55 minorities, and each minority, each province, each town have their own way of speaking. It's like England, You can tell someone's from London not just by the accent, but the way they use and speak the English, for example. Someone up north, apart from the accent, of course, but they won't use English wording that way. It's similar to that. And Chinese is such an old language, one of the oldest languages still exists today. So it has many, many layers, many, many meanings, and so on. And of course, the hit piece, all starting from, was it Rebecca Valentine from IGN, mistranslated this. And it's been proven time and time again, not by myself, my family, my friends, even people from China who can read Chinese and understand the culture. Yeah, they were saying that she got an Asian person offers to translate. I guarantee that I know a lot of Asian people who are half my age, and they don't know nothing about Chinese culture because they're born and raised here, and they can barely speak the language. I assume, I hope, maybe I could be wrong, that translator was one of those ones. Why don't you take some time and actually get someone who actually understands the Chinese language and understand the Chinese culture combined? Because you can say something and you do a direct translation, it actually means something, because there's a direct translation and there's the meaning translation, what we mean. And every single hit piece from all these different journeys and using the same source from IGN, even though it's been proven wrong. And you can't help but feel like this whole conspiracy, just after they rejected Sweet Baby Inc. maybe, the $7 million, and then suddenly everyone's out to get them, almost like the Harry Potter last year and then Stellar Blade and so on. But I think Wukong got pretty hardcore. So that's why it brings me to some of these articles I'm about to show you. For example, like this review from Screen Rant. I mean, I read some of it, and you can see you go to YouTube. There's loads of videos about this now. The person who wrote this was in protected mode, and suddenly all that stuff. This bit here, lack of inclusivity and diversity. Really, Journey to the West, the Monkey King story is in China, Chinese culture. Probably, if not number one, most famous, most lovable, most liked, most influential story, fictional story, based on a real incident by the monk who went to the West and got the Buddhist and translated the Buddhist scripture back to China. It said the Tang Dynasty, so the monk and the journey was true. Of course, the author, which I totally forgot his name, just added some flavor to it. Like Lord of the Rings, if you think about it. It's one of the most influential in Southeast Asia. Japan loves it. Dragon Ball was based on even parts of Naruto. All of that was loosely, somehow based on it. It's 500, 600 years old. It's about a monkey. If you think about it, and then you talk about lack of women and so on. Come on, it's got monkeys. It's got weird creatures, tigers. Really? Are you serious? And that takes me to this thing about this do's and don'ts. I've been watching some YouTube videos. For example, recently RGT, he talks about this, and I like RGT. He's pretty honest about things, but I think that I don't think he really covered too much or saw too much about the conspiracy against Black Wukong. To me, so I'm coming here from two sides of thing. So on one side, I agree that having these guidelines does take away the certain freedom you're allowed to do from the West. If you want to say something, you can say something. Of course, like it or not, you have the right to say something, as long as it's not hurtful or physical damage or make what I'm talking about, right? So yes, in that essence, you're allowed to write it. But at the same time, from an Asian point of view, I can Chinese people or Asian people like this. It's like, you know what, the hell of it. I don't think these rules would have been put in place if they didn't get all of this bullshit, all of these people attacking them using the same article that's been proven wrong time and time again. I don't think they would have put these rules up because I think they had enough. So I can see this is only against the journalists who set out to literally destroy them for stupid things like DEI bullshit. Come on. I mean, simple thing is like you like the game, don't insult influencers. For example, the other side of the fence who enjoys this and hates all that woke crap. Don't influence them, and things like, and also because coming from China, I know the West, for example, and how they view China. It's a shame because a lot of the news from China when it gets over here, over to Europe, over to America, the Western countries, Western countries, especially America, they tend to really exaggerate or lie about China, the propaganda against us. They want to kind of demonize China. That's why, for some bizarre reason, everybody hates Chinese. Look at the Olympics. The Chinese people really getting scrutinized too much, in my opinion, because of the propaganda in the West. My opinion is, guys, if you don't believe me, you don't believe in some of the Chinese media, go to yourself and see for yourself. Is that bad? And the whole communist thing, China's one of the few countries left which is communist. So no matter what happens, any entertainment, anything that gets released from China will always be under a lot more scrutiny than any country, right? So that's why this bit I do not discuss related Chinese policies and so on and so forth. Yes, China's not perfect. No country's perfect. But is it as bad as some of the Western media say? No. I've been there so many times, and I tell you the truth. I feel so safe there, and the freedom, may not have as much freedom as the West, but it's not as bad as a lot of the media says. But a game like this, such a big profile going to the West, yes, there is going to be some scrutiny, some restrictions, and the Chinese government probably has certain things to game science, just be aware of certain things. And I can understand that. So I don't know, my advice to people who read the Western media about China, look deeper, look at certain independent news articles and read it for yourself. And if you have a chance, go to China and see for yourself. And I just think about these rules here. These rules, I get it, and I'm in the middle, to be honest. Like I said, um, if I was a games, from the West, of course, I wouldn't have these rules up because it is, infringement of your freedom of speech. But at the same time, I understand the Chinese point of view. We just don't like hassle. We just put this rules up here because we know that it's for the game journalists. If they did do that, this wouldn't happen. I mean, you don't need to talk about politics, violence, nudity, family, and propaganda in the game. They just want you to play the game. That's understandable. So, like I said, in two minds, do I agree with it? Not necessary, but do I understand it? Yes. Like I said, as Rambo once said in the First Blood, they drew first blood. If they didn't attack the game, I don't think game science would do this. So there you go. But I'm still going to buy it, and I'm going to hopefully enjoy it. And I know I've been reading a lot of comments on YouTube. They keep saying it's going to be Game of the Year. You know what? I'm telling you now, this game is going to be like Harry Potter of last year. It's going to be a good seller. Every single Western media gaming event on anything will somehow, won't even mention and pretend that they did not exist. He's not going to get Game of the Year, even though he probably does deserve it. Well, time will tell. But he's not going to get no Game of the Year in the Western media or in a Western country because, obvious, it doesn't have what they want. It doesn't have the boxes they tick. Last of Us 2, Game of the Year. Totally disagree with that. So it'd probably be the fans' Game of the Year. But anyway, that's my rant over about this, and it's a shame. Like I said, do I agree, disagree? I'm stuck in the middle. Like I said, Rambo says they drew first blood. Anyway, that's my rant over. Until next time, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. And please play this game. Goodbye now.